Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz, August 21, 2016 at 1:05 a.m. And the topic, Enoch has been delivered to heaven by two angels, two giant angels. And on the way, they'll stop and let him rest. It's really not the rest, it's to show him what each level of heaven consists of and why he's taken that trip so that he can tell us what the fallen angels did in their offspring to get them into their bonds at this time. Interesting here. The spirits that minish the land of giant strength and giant tread, demons like raging bulls, great ghosts that breaks through all houses, demons that have no shame, 7 are they, knowing no care, they grind the land like corn, knowing no mercy, they rage against mankind, they spill their blood like rain, devouring their flesh and sucking their veins. Where the images of the gods are, there they quake. In the temple Nebu, who fertilizes the shoots of wheat, these are demons full of violence, ceasingly devouring blood. Let me go here. The evil giant offspring of the Nephilim in Jewish legend were also noted for their vast appetites, eating thousands of animals a day and even eating human flesh. Obviously, a memory of a large sacrificial offerings. I can see that in South America, where they killed up to 1,000 a day or something. The 7 evil sons of A, that's EA, described in ancient clay tablet, are enumerated on the south wind: a dragon with a mouth agape, a grim leopard that carries off young, a terrible serpent, a furious beast, an evil windstorm, and one that cannot be identified because the damages to the clay tablet that the Torah that the Jews have found back in that time. It is possible that these 7 evil sons of A reappear in the apocalypse. Firstly, all as the 7 angels with 7 trumpets, whose sounding progressively causing terrible events to occur that mark the end of the world, and also the 7 angels with 7 plagues carrying the bows containing the wrath of God. That's explaining kind of what was going on prior to the flood. And then the giant offsprings talking about apocalypse, which was named tribulation or revelations. So you have apocalypse. It sounded so horrible, they changed it to revelations. And they took some of the language out. I think they should have left it the way it was. All right. I don't know how many of these I'm going to get. I'm going to get a few, and then I'll have to go to a second one. But Enoch's journey to heaven, and this is the first heaven, written both as a personal testament and a historic review. The Ethiopic book of Enoch, whose earliest life was probably the words of Enoch, describe his journey to heaven as well as the 4 corners of earth. The first heaven, as recounted in the 2nd Enoch, the book of secrets of Enoch. This quite extraordinary tale began with the unexpected arrival of the 2 very tall men, whose radiant faces and raiment that have the appearance of feathers, who enter Enoch's home and demands he go with them. So he told his family he had to leave. Don't look for him. When they see him, that means Jesus will bring him back to them. So having made his departure, the righteous patriarch is then given, is taken up on the wings of these two men who carry him off to heaven. And there's several other verses that telling the same thing. I will skip them. The second heaven, moving on to the second heaven, Enoch is abhorred to find angelic prisoners suspended, awaiting some form of eternal judgment. This made me recall the inhuman manner in which Shemaiah, the leader of the 200 rebel watchers, had been suspended upside down for his crimes against humanity. Those angels who guarded these poor wretched souls are themselves gloomy in appearance, more than the darkness of the earth, seeing the shackled prisoners cry out for the patriarch, which is Enoch, to pray for them, to which he responds, "Who am I? I am a mortal man that I should pray for angels." The third heaven. There's a lot there, but I'm going to pick the shortest that tells the most. The Garden of Eden appears to have more in common with an Israeli kibbutz or with the garden of a Christian monarchy. Whatever. Then with the I can't read this stuff. Eternal kingdom, people by angelic hosts. Moreover, the reference to the tree of life on which God rests when he comes into paradise is strangely reminiscent of the tree of all remedies, on the tree of all seeds, on which the submerged bird rests in Persian tradition. This heavenly tree is said to have been placed in the center of a Vorkoska Sea, which is itself located in the Area Vaja, the Iranian domain of the immortals. Curiously enough, like the Garden of Eden, the Vorkoska Sea is seen as the gathering point of all water, fed by the mighty river named Haravante, and this waterway comes from two separate rivers that flow out toward the east and the west and spreads throughout the whole of the land. They return to the sea. Their water cleanses of all impurities. But there's a problem there. I won't read it, but I know a man in Christ who 14 years ago was caught up in the third of heaven, and he talked about Iran, Persian, having God upset because they did not. In other words, they themselves made changes to this river, to this lake, to this inland sea that is no longer there. That's the third heaven. And the fourth heaven, I'm going to stop. I will start on the fourth heaven next. I'm sorry. I cannot pronounce 90% of these words, but I'm getting it close. But you got an idea of what's on the first three levels. You got an idea on how bad, how evil the fallen angels' offspring and the fallen angels themselves were. I don't know if I read that to you, but I'll go back, I'll find it, and I'll read that. And but it's talking mainly about their offspring, the Rephaim, what they did and how rude and crude and sadistic they were, horrible in the things they did. And it made me think of this Mayan, whoever he was, that stood atop the temple and took the hearts out of so many men and women per day. And he would bite out of one, still beating. And where it went from there, I don't know. Then he would behead the man, and the head would roll down the steps to the people at the bottom. Tens to hundreds of thousands of people died in that manner. And they were doing it, as you see right here. They were doing it for the Rephaim. Wow. Jody Wolf Exposed.